Here we are, happy Saturday, Eagles Nation, happy Labor Day weekend. Stephen Hellmann here, Tom Aresco, ViewsFromTheLincTV. Sammy Sleeves!
The sleeves.
I died a little inside, but...
We're dying a little inside,
I know. He's my favorite football player. Well, not anymore, I guess, but he was. He was my favorite football player.
He was.
Sad to see him go.
Gone.
But Howie fleecing the Vikings.
Yeah,
you cannot.
I feel like you've said that all offseason.
This is
Howie Roseman fleecing
everyone.
Yeah.
The league.
Pretty much.
But I mean, yeah, Eagles traded the first round. Got the Vikings' first round pick for this upcoming season, and the fourth round pick that could potentially turn into a second round
or a third. If they go to the NFC Championship this year, then it's a third, and if they go to if they win the Super Bowl, it's a second. Which I doubt either one of them happen. But So
we're gonna great deal. I mean, you can't not make the trade.
Right.
As much we're the biggest Sam Bradford fans ever, and if we say you can't make that trade, you can't make the trade. I mean,
you got to make the trade.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on this? Going forward. I mean, this is huge for.
It's big. Carson Wentz is gonna start week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew if Bradford was either injured for a long period of time, or if he was traded, or if anything happened, that Chase Daniel would not be a long-term starter. He was more of the guy that if he has to go into the middle of a game, he's probably your best bet because of the familiarity he has with Peterson in the system, which I still believe. So that's great that we have Chase Daniel, and that's kind of why now the money in the quarterback room kind of settles down a little bit, because now you get rid of Sam Bradford. You're paying Chase Daniel a low-end starter contract, which is probably what he's worth, at least for the time being. And when you have to get Wentz's bigger deal, then you get Wentz's bigger deal, and Daniel will be gone. So
exactly.
Ultimately, you really made out well here. You get to see your rookie quarterback immediately right under fire, which is a little nerve-wracking. And I've been huge on letting him sit, letting him learn, but when a deal comes across the table that Sam Bradford doesn't even have to play in order to get the value up, for first round value up. I mean, we thought Chip
he's
Kelly,
the best preseason quarterback ever.
Exactly.
So that warranted the trade.
And I think his improvement down the stretch last year and his comfortability coming into this off season, really helped get the Vikings to bite on it and say, look, we don't want to just throw the season down the trash because of Bridgewater. He might be hurt for even some of next year as well. Sam Bradford, a pretty viable option at quarterback to start, and they were willing to trade a first-round pick. They think they're ready to compete now for a Super Bowl. Adrian Peterson's time's ticking, so they have a lot of options in Minnesota, which direction they wanted to go, and not having a viable starter would have really hurt them. And they got Sam Bradford, and he should be good enough to get them to the playoffs if everything goes well. But you never know.
That's not even a guarantee.
And we hope he doesn't go to the playoffs because we want that high draft pick. But that's a good team, and to go and get a guy like Bradford, it's a questionable move as far as everything goes going forward. But they took a leap of faith, and they went and got him, and it's a good situation for both teams. Everyone wins here. I think. I believe that Howie Roseman did end up in the driver's seat this offseason and really made it happen. So.
No, he made the most of it. He took advantage of a unfavorable situation there for the Vikings, but. I just don't see how Sam Bradford is. I feel bad for the dude. I mean, this is
he's just a trade guy now. And I mean, look,
to come in and have to learn this offense. His first game's in 8 days.
Yeah,
and he's gotta go to Minnesota. He's gotta get a place to stay. He's gotta do all this stuff. He's gotta learn a playbook, roll out week. It's tough. It's not good situation for him.
It's tough, but it helps when you got a lot of money. That whole place to stay thing won't really.
I don't really feel bad for the money thing. I'm just saying for him to. I mean, logistically on the field. For them to expect him to come out there and just whip it around, I just don't see that happening.
It doesn't seem possible. Week 1 for him, they play Tennessee, so we'll see what happens. But it's cool, Bradford and Mariota get to go against each other. If Bradford starts, there's rumors that he's not. Bottom line is, Eagles got what they wanted for Sam Bradford, which was some value, which helps in the Carson Wentz trade to recoup some of that value. But for Eagles fans, it's exciting. They get Carson Wentz out there, and hopefully we're a little more patient with him than we were with some of the other players in the past.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious that if you are one of those fans that wanted Sam Bradford gone, wanted him released, wanted him cut, wanted whatever, wanted him traded, whatever the case may be, and you're now gloating to Eagles fans that liked Sam Bradford's presence on the team, well, you're wrong, because you wanted him cut, you wanted him let go in March, and at that time the Eagles didn't have Carson Wentz, they didn't have Chase Daniel, all they had was Mark Sanchez and Sam Bradford. So to be an advocate of re-signing the only real capable starter on your team and Sam Bradford, you knew there was value there. I mean, any football fan knew there was value. A lot of fans speaking from the hatred of their heart, just wanting him gone with no real vision of how it could affect the next couple moves going forward. I think that re-signing Sam Bradford gave Howie Roseman leverage in the Browns trade, and now it gets him a first-round pick back. So if you are one of those fans sitting here on Twitter right now, sitting around thinking, oh, all those Sam Bradford Eagle fans are idiots. Well, look, we wanted the guy back for this exact reason, for something positive, some value to come of it. Because if you just let him go, what are you really gaining? Nothing. Sam Bradford's 28 years old. He's still got some value. I knew that. A lot of fans did know that. Whether it was literally directly impacting the Eagles' chances or just overall shaping the form and the mold of the new roster going forward. And today, I believe, I'm not one to just sit here all crazy and toot my own horn with things. I get a lot of things wrong. A lot of things I say contradict just like anyone else. But ultimately, I stood firm on Sam Bradford being on this team for more than just the reason that I thought he was a pretty good quarterback. And today, that was proven true before we even got into the season when they traded him for a first-round pick. So, if a lot of these fans had it their way, the ones that are gloating about this, if you had it your way, Bradford would have been gone and some team would have signed him already and we wouldn't have any of this. So the decision to keep Sam Bradford in Philadelphia back in March is going to go down as one of the most overlooked, best moves that Howie Roseman made when he was put back in charge of this team, and Doug Peterson when he was hired. That's going to be one of these moves that really it ricocheted a whole bunch of moves to come, and that shaped the team. So, look, I love all Eagles fans for being excited, but stop turning against people that like Sam Bradford. They liked him for a reason, and this is one of those reasons that was a possibility, and now it's come true. We're all happy with it. Nobody's upset that Bradford's gone. We knew what was coming anyway. And we got a first-rounder for it. So
you're not going to get anything better than what you could have gotten right now.
Exactly.
Without a doubt.
Exactly.
So this is the best move that they could make moving forward. If you're getting rid of Sam Bradford after this year, like the plan was, you can't argue with it.
Yeah,
you got rid of him earlier. Maybe Chase Daniel play a game or two. Who cares?
And the minute that they announced that he would be re-signed, who would have known that we end up with Carson Wentz and still keep our first-rounder?
Yeah.
We end up with, we re-signed Sam Bradford, then we end up with really giving up nothing to get the second overall pick in the draft, and we get our first rounder back next year, pretty much. So, I mean, if you were to say that Sam Bradford's re-signing would springboard really all those moves going forward, no one would have believed that. Everyone would have said he stinks. No one. I mean, just yesterday, Cowboys fans, everyone was asking me on Twitter, who do you think views Sam Bradford as a franchise quarterback? Who's even going to give a second rounder for him, even after this year? Well, guess what? We just got a first for him. So there you go. There it is. Yeah. That's how quickly the QB landscape changes in the NFL and how valuable a veteran starter can be. And boom, right there. That's it. It's over. It's done. It's done. The signing him was the right choice, and this proved it today. So enough already. It's Carson Wentz time. It's time to get going. Yeah. It's time to put things in the past and realize that every move, every action, there's a reaction, and that's what Sam Bradford did for us, and I'm happy with it, and I can't wait.
Well, every move certainly had a purpose this offseason. I think that's the big thing. You can take away from this is that clearly there's a plan in place, and how we had to plan when, like I was saying, like we were saying, in preseason, like we had to sign, even before in March, we had to sign Bradford. It was okay, we'll sign him and then we'll trade up. I remember when they made that trade, I was like, they couldn't have made that trade without Bradford because they wouldn't have got the leverage from the Browns.
Exactly.
Because the Browns would have been like, oh, you really need a quarterback. So, like, the Eagles with having Sam Bradford, it's like, we could trade up to, but we don't need to because you're good. And then that's just what they did. And he just fleeced everyone all offseason. He had a vision that was going to get Carson Wentz, the starting quarterback, and get something back for Sam Bradford. Who would have thought of in a first-round pick? I don't think Howie was anticipating that.
Not this early.
But when Bridgewater tore his ACL, that was probably going through Howie's mind.
Yep.
And then when they
called
called
the Vikings' mind as well.
Yeah, and when Howie said today in his press conference that, you know what, we weren't calling people out for, we weren't reaching out to people to give Sam Bradford away, but, when they called us and we told them what the price was, they went for it.
It worked out, and it's perfect. And a couple other quick housekeeping news. Lane Johnson's suspension nothing's been said. So right now he's the starter for week 1. Our O-line's already looked good. Howie did say in his press conference that we're going to pick up. The roster's very fluid right now.
Yeah.
A lot of cuts happening. Could be some more moves made, but this is all about rebuilding this roster. And Sam Bradford really helped in that whole process. Whether signing him was. Honestly, it made me right away think of when I play video games, and it's crazy to say that because, that's not real life, but sometimes I'll have a free agent coming up. Usually happens in NBA 2K, I do this. I'll have a free agent coming up that I know I have a young guy that I want to start, but I'm not going to just let that guy go. I'll re-sign him, and then I'll trade him for value so I can, keep it going. I mean, it's crazy because it's just a game, but that's what just happened. They re-signed Sam Bradford so that no one else could get him for free. Yeah. And then they said, hey, you want a quarterback, go pay us for it. And they did. So it was just perfect. It was a great move.
All the roster moves, they had made the 21 moves today, and the only one that I really am questioning is Najee Good. I thought he was a good depth guy at linebacker. He played well last year. He looked good in preseason. But, I got to think that they're going to go out and get someone. But everything else, none of these moves are really a surprise to me at all. So I think they kept the best 53 players and
and that's it.
And
now
they're going home. The best 50. We're coming home next week and we're gonna see Wentz mania. It's gonna be
nuts.
It's gonna be wild. I mean, a crazy Saturday, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Monday for a weekly chirp, and we do apologize with the lack of videos we have been doing. But like we said, our sitcom got picked up. Life's been crazy, but the Eagles. Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. So thank you guys for tuning in again, and enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend. Have a good one.